No human is illegal. To fight white supremacy, unfortunately, right? This just shows us exactly what we're up against.
We're with SURJ, showing up for racial justice, and we're a Houston chapter of SURJ. And SURJ is a organization that organizes, mobilizes, and educates white folks specifically around racial justice issues.
2 years?
It's been actually closer to 3.
3?
Yeah. No, yeah. Of this chapter, but SURJ national organization started kind of like right after Ferguson, and white people wanting to do something and asking those questions, like what should we do? And the response was educate your people, like talk to your family, like go into your communities, like racism is a white people problem. And so it definitely started as a direct result of some of those conversations.
I can only speak for myself, and I don't have like a glorious answer that is, perfectly crafted or anything like that. I think I've been really fortunate in my life to run into people who have taught me that, try to be empathetic, even if that's not my natural instinct. And I agree with what you say, that there's that quote, like, my liberation is bound up with yours. And I believe that. I also believe, like, it's the responsibility of people with privilege to leverage that privilege to help others out. And I mean, I don't know. A lot of it for me is also a journey of learning. So I have a lot to learn, a lot left to learn, both from the people that are in SURJ and the people that we get to work with. And so I recognize that I have a lot of internal racism that I need to dismantle, and that I can do a better job with talking to my friends or my family. Some of my cousins were here, just randomly, and some of them are not very friendly towards immigrants. And so it was sort of an opportunity to have a conversation with them, and to let them know that I support people no matter what their documented status is. But that's something that I get to work on. I don't know, sort of a long-winded answer. I don't have one specific reason why.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you were saying, where, clearly we're in a time where at least a lot of white people thought that racism was kind of a thing of the past, and at first we spent a lot of time trying to kind of like wake people up to that wasn't true, but now, it's kind of in our faces again, and so I think that a lot of white people are kind of coming and trying to figure it out, and like they don't understand what, because that hasn't been their experience. They thought things were different, and so, but I know for me, like, intersectionality is really important. So it's basically like where I understand. It doesn't mean that I understand someone else's like experiences, but where I can have a window into people's experiences, it has to do with like my experiences as a woman, my experiences as a queer woman, and using that as just a window to kind of like try to understand like the complexities of power and how power really affects so much of our lives. And that's when we talk about privilege, we're really talking about power. Not the same because of power. It's not necessarily racism, it's more like discrimination or hatred or like those types of things. But it's not necessarily like the full weight of like a racist person with a lot of power and the ability to really like incarcerate people and do all these things to people. I mean, it's really political education, I guess, and but it really comes down to like some interpersonal stuff too. You know, it's interpersonal and political, like it's both combined. And we just walk people through, you know, like you're gonna be uncomfortable to talk whenever, like white folks don't like talking about race. They're not accustomed to talking about it. They're taught not to talk about it. You know, it's not polite. It's not, you know, it's like you're silenced a lot. So, you know, to just kind of like break that silence is really powerful and create a space where you're able to talk about it. Because also, you know, you'll hear like white tears. You know, we don't want to necessarily, you know, we don't, like, people of color don't want to teach us about like what their experiences are like. So it's like you have to have a place to process that. So that's kind of why SURJ exists, where it's like it creates a place where it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about your uncle. It's okay to talk about how am I going to deal with this at work. Because white people are racist to you. I mean, they talk about it to you, but also we have internalized racism that, you know, is very powerful. Most people that come to us are liberal, and we have to tell them, like, this is you too. Like, and that's hard because white liberals like to believe that they're really good people and they're not racist, and like it doesn't, you know, they know how to say the right thing, but like they are. And so it's a lot of like poking into those places, but also kind of like being like, you know, like, this is gonna be a fragile area. Just take your time, breathe through it. Like, you're gonna be uncomfortable, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to be uncomfortable sometimes. Because I think a lot of white people are just like, they don't know how to be uncomfortable. They don't know how to, you know, be confronted. They don't know how, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of that. White supremacy is very protected in this country. I mean, like, we don't talk about it. We don't, like, and then you dig into the roots and you're like, oh, like, all of us have been taught, like, white supremacist history. Like, that's what we've been taught. We've been taught that this land and, you know, everything we've been taught is, like, very, so people get scared, and, you know, we've been taught, like, that our families just did things better, and that's how we got, you know, to where we are. And so if you start digging into that, people are like, wait, what? No, you know, like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say earlier. Is a lot of sort of what we try to do, at least what I see, is going back to Kathy talking about power, is just sort of looking at the power dynamics at sort of a 2D scale and trying to say, okay, who is creating the situation? Who creates the laws? How are these power dynamics constructed? Because it is possible, like Kathy said, people tend to take it very personally, but it's possible to hold. A lot of white people need to look at it from a more clinical point of view, and sometimes it's possible to step back and say, okay, let's just look at this from a simple power dynamics question, and then it sort of clicks for some people. Maybe not everybody, but I think a lot of, like Kathy said, white supremacy is a very protected thing, and when you live in it, you don't know that it's around you. It's very invisible. White people don't perceive that society in the United States, at least, has really been built to cater for white people.